Guys, Marty Schwartz here with Marty Music. Got another guitar lesson for you. I know, big shock. Anyway, we're going to play every single, almost, F chord imaginable. Great little music lesson right now, and I hope you enjoy it. Let's break this down. All right, so there's this really cool concept that I enjoyed watching a jazz guitar player named Joe Pass talk about some of his music theory, and he broke all chords down into 3 categories. So we're going to kind of take this lesson from that approach. The 3 categories of chords are major, minor, and dominant. Yeah, there's like flat 7s, sharp 13s, flat 11s, sharp 11s, diminished, half diminished, diminished 7, all that stuff. It all, for simple purposes, fits into one of those 3 categories. Also, I have a CAGED system where I talk about finding every C major chord using the CAGED system. That's a really helpful lesson. I think it relates to this one as well. Let's talk about the F chord. Well, when you say F, you mean F major. So let's just go through the chords, in my opinion, the most relevant to go first. So you got the basic F chord that kind of start with. It's an F, an A, and a C. Now, major and minor chords, no matter if you're playing all 6 strings or not, it's all made up of 3 notes. All major and minor chords, it's just 3 notes. So for an F major chord, it's F, A, and C. So that means if I cover this up here, that's another F. So F, A, C, F. If I cover that there, what note's that? That's a C note. So that's still part of that F, A, and C. If I get that in there, F, C, F, A, C, F. It's all 6 strings, but it's still only 3 notes, right? So that means if I understand the fretboard, then I can find F, A's, and C's in any combination and play an F major chord. It's at the letters, the notes F, A, and C. So I have an F here, I have an A right here, and I have a C right here. So that's actually a weird one, but it's an F major chord. Let me get it in there. So I've never even played that voicing before, but I found an F, an A, and a C. See that? So if you know that formula, that means and you know the fretboard, you can find F chords anywhere. Okay. So let's go through the ones that I think you should know in the proper order. First, you have the F, the simple F. Then you can cover the high E. Then you've got probably the one I use the most in acoustic is this one. And then you've got the full bar chord, the E shape. From the CAGED, that's the E shape. So I think you got to be able to play this one, the E root, and then the A root. So if you know the E root and the A root, you actually can cover the entire scale of the fretboard. So watch, here's the E root for F, and then the A root for F is right here on the 8th fret, and then it starts over on the E again, and then boom, you have the A shape here. Those are all F major chords, and I think the E shape and the A shape for all basic chords is the way to go. You're also going to eventually be able to see licks underneath those shapes. So you have the E shape and the A shape. The E shape, the A shape. Okay, but let's talk about that other category, minor. Okay, now minor is only 3 notes as well, but what you're doing is you're taking what's called the third and you're making it called a minor third. In a major chord, it's a major third, which is A, natural. But to make it an F minor chord, it's all the same stuff, but you got to make that A an A flat. So when you see that shape change, what I've done is I'm doing the exact same concept, but I've made the A natural now an A flat, and that makes the shapes look different. So let's go through the E and A shapes of F minor now. So you got F right there on the E, you got F right here on the A, and so with the E root, you play the E shape. So we want F minor now. So there's F minor. We find it on the A, we want the A minor looking shape. We're going to get right back up to the E root again. And then the frets are too small to really do it, but it would be. A bar chord way up there. It's good to see it though. So far we have F major, F minor, and we're only using 2 voicings right now, but they're very important and the most relevant. Now let's talk about that third category, which is dominant. And that tends to be those bluesy sounding chords. It's actually dominant chords are 4-note chords, or 7, when you hear F7. So you take the F major and add a 4th tone to it, which is called the 7, because of the scale. But don't worry about that right now. We're just going to play the chord. If I take that F major and I want to add, to make it F7, I want to add an E flat note to it, to the F, A, and C notes. I need to, if I add an E flat, a 4th note to that formula, you get the dominant. And so the F7, the easiest one, is taking an F major, taking your pinky off, because you're getting that E flat note right there. So you'd have this. And then with the A shape, you just make it look like A7. And then back to the E shape. That's F dominant. Now, there's a lot of different ways to play that chord. Plus, with the CAGED system, we still haven't done the D shape or the G shape for any of those. Now, full disclosure, we can't do every single F chord that's ever existed in this video because we'll be here forever. But let me remind you, we've got 3 categories. We've got major, minor, and dominant. And it's always the same combination of those notes. So F minor again. F7. So there's another way to add the E flat right here. Like that. Now if I go to the A shape and make the 7 like that, where this looks like an A7 shape, another way to do it is play the full major and add that E flat right here on the 11th fret of the high E. Okay, so we have some F majors that we played, we've got some F minors that we've played, and we've got some F7s, which, like I said, are the blues chords. I want to get into some different voicings let's go back to major and minor. So I talked about that thing, the CAGED system. Let's go back to F major. And so we did an E root, and we did an A root, or A shape. And all the CAGED system means is just the C shape, the A shape, the G shape, the E shape, and the D shape. So if we want to play the an F major using the D shape, it's right there. I've got a D chord, up a whole step to E, half step to F. And remember, I said an F chord is F, A, and C. That means these three notes should, in some configuration, be F, A, and C, and that's it. Let's see what we got. That's an A, that's an F, so that's a C. You got another F right here, and so that'd be the full, you know, fancy way. But just visualizing that is great. Like that. Another thing that's really interesting is that when you take like a full, all 6 notes of that F major chord, you can play little 2-note, 3-note combinations. So if you can visualize this, you've got this. Just the first 2 notes of the chord is an F power chord with the octave. F, C, F. So that means that actually if you just start playing little pieces of it, if I'm not playing the other strings, see that? All different little groupings across that entire shape. So with this D shape of F major, I can see that A note right there. So in any combination, as I go and visualize those shapes, okay, so that's the D major shape playing an F major chord. F major with the D, F major with the A, back to the E. Now let's talk about the C shape. Here's a C shape, right? So that's a C chord. Up a whole step would be D, up another whole step would be E, and then half step to F. So the problem is the open strings haven't moved up, right? So if like a capo is here, that would be the C shape to play an F major chord. And I can even prove it. That's an F note. That's an A note. If it was capoed, that's a C note. And then you've got F again. And then an A on top. Most people don't play the entire shape like this, but you're basically, you've got your finger down like a capo, and then you're playing a C-looking shape, but it's been moved up to make it an F chord. So C, D, E, half step to F. So that's an F major chord right there. But most people will play a little portion of it, but it's great to visualize that, and you play this. So that comes from the C shape, and we're playing F major right now, so it's the 6th fret, 5th fret, 7th fret. And that's, you get a lot of Hendrix stuff in there. So you have F major, you got F with the D shape, you got F with the C shape, you got F with the A shape, and then we'd have F with the G shape, which would look like this. Let me change my positioning here for you. Once again, it's a weird shape, but if you look, it's just like a G shape with the index finger as the capo. But most people won't play that. They're going to end up playing this, what I like to call the Hendrix major chord, where you're playing this piece of the F right there, but then you're playing what's called the 3rd right here, which is the 12th fret of the A string. So review my caged lesson on the C chord to go even deeper into that. Let's talk about the same concept for F minor now. So we'd have the F bar chord. So if I was thinking of this as the D shape, right? For F major, all I have to do is think of this as now the D minor shape, and I'll get F minor. So look, that's D minor. If I moved all the three notes here up a half step, it's E minor now. If I move it up a half step, because E to F in all of music is a half step. So I just move this shape up a half step. I've got a really nice F minor triad. So F minor with the D shape. Yeah, D minor shape. Let's go back all the way to the A shape now. If I just played the top three. All the way back to the E shape. Now the C shape with the minor is a little bit different. Once again, it always comes back to kind of not playing across the whole thing, but playing little groups. So that's the C minor looking shape for F minor. So that's the 8th fret, then you've got the 6th fret on the A, 5th fret on the G. Now if you took that and wanted to spread it out, because most people are not going to play a shape that looks like that. So here's a really great minor triad. So what I'm doing is it's coming from the C shape. That's where it is derived. But you can just think of this great little minor triad right here by finding the root on the B string. And remember, everything's F, so everything we've done in this lesson is F. So we have 6th fret B, 5th fret G, and 6th fret D. So that shape's going to work wherever you find a root on the B string and you plug that little kind of triangle looking shape in, you're always going to get a minor triad. So even though this is about F, let's just pretend that I want to use this shape to play A minor. Well, this is F minor. So up a whole step would be G minor. And up another whole step would be A minor. And so if I hit the open A string with it, you'll hear it more. And isn't that like in the Pretender by Foo Fighters? A little more interesting then. But even more interesting is being able to visualize and understand it, so then you can play any of these F chords anywhere. All right, so let's keep going. So we had F minor, D minor looking F minor, right? The A shape. And then we took pieces of the C shape. All right, so that's a lot of information right there. So now let me just play some of these other concepts as we move along here. So I said there are 3 categories: major, minor, and dominant. So not only do you get those 3-note major chords, but you get 4-note, 5-note major chords where you're adding scale tones on top of the triad. So the most popular one would be called F major 7. But you're going to get stuff like major 9. You still got that FAC for major formula, but then now you're adding other tones from the do, re, mi scale on top. Now, when you take what's called the third out, you end up with chords that are called suspended. So the third's out, so you don't hear if it's major or minor, and you get what a suspended sound. There's different kinds of suspended chords. Now with the minor, you add colors on top of the 3-note formula, and you get, like, for instance, a minor 9. So it's still in the minor category, a 3-note formula, but with the 9th tone added to it from the scale that it comes from. Okay, minor 6. You have part of the dominant world, same thing. You add colors to it. So if I have what's called F9, it's an F dominant 7 chord with the 9 on top. So it's now become a 5-note chord. And then you'd have what's called the 13, which is a dominant chord, but now it's got the 13th. It's a 7 chord with the 13th tone of the scale that it comes from added to it. So you have major, you have major 7, you have minor, you have dominant 7. And then for simplicity, not that this is simple, but you have these chords called diminished chords and half diminished chords, and Joe Pass would put those in the dominant category. So because it's always done in something that sounds like this. It's a sequence of chords. But then you have this diminished chord, which he would consider part of the dominant category, and that's the chords like this. Diminished and augmented are more jazz. So that's a diminished chord, and it has that mystery movie sound, or like Scooby-Doo. And then you have what's called augmented, which is still in that dominant category. A lot of the jazz chords, when you see all the weird symbols and stuff, typically those are dominant chords. So just rewind back. It's great to start by knowing the E and A shapes of a major chord, a minor chord, and a dominant 7 chord. So let me go over those, and then it's a lot of food for thought. Feel free to leave comments below to help me guide you into the next steps or stuff you don't understand from this. So you have the E shape for F major and the A shape for F major. It would repeat up here on the 13th fret. Now, F minor, same spots, same roots. And then you have dominant 7. I didn't show you that one though. D7, you know, 1st fret B. That's a D7. If it's up a whole step, it's E7. Half step's F7. And then just know that if you're playing across the whole thing, they can be broken up into little pieces in any group of 2 or 3 strings. All right, I hope you could handle that. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it all the way to the end. You can request stuff you'd like to see, lessons, songs, techniques, you know, interviews, anything you want. Let me know in the comments below. While you're down there, don't forget to like and subscribe right here to Marty Music. I'll love you forever. Adios.